Guys, there are spoilers for this film and this review. So if you don't want to end up in divorce, go out, watch film, then come back. You have been warned. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan HD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan HD, and this week we just watched The Roses, which is a remake of the original film in 1989 called The War of the Roses. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. It is a black comedy, and I liked it very much so. I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was very fun, very enjoyable, very authentic in a way. But before I go on a whole tangent, why I liked this film, I'll tell you why I liked this film and more. Back at the house.
You're a bottomless pit of need! You're just making me madder!
I get this wart.
Jesus, no.
Oh my God.
Things are getting a little out of hand.
Oh, you think?
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan HD, and this week we watched The Roses, a remake of the 1989 War of the Roses, The War of the Roses, which was actually an adaptation of a book of the same name. This film is starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Olivia Colman, Kate McKinnon, and Andy Samberg. I believe I said those correctly. And this film is a black comedy. And I will say, I have heard that the original film is a satire, and it takes itself more seriously. Well, this one is just a straight-up black comedy, right? I wouldn't say, I mean, it does take itself semi-seriously, but it's mainly just a vessel for, comedic moments, which I think it does very well. I mean, Roach directed this movie, who actually did the Austin Powers franchise. He made the Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers movies. He's actually done quite a few comedies that I'm familiar with. So, I mean, that's probably why this film is pretty strong in its comedic areas, because, I mean, Austin Powers, I mean, that's pretty good stuff. That's pretty good resume. But this movie, I think the backbone of it, like the best part about it, is the chemistry with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman, because they are just so good at like cleverly throwing shit at each other, right? Like they even mention it in the movie how like fun they're, like not playful at all. It's completely vitriolic, but they're like complete like banter back and forth at each other, like they're witty, insulting banter, right? Where they'll just throw shit at each other over and over. And it's funny how like the characters try to recreate it, but then they just end up being mean. Well, yes, Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch are also being mean. They're being smart mean. They're being British mean, I guess is a good way to put it, I guess. And I think that I really do like how at the beginning of the movie, Olivia Colman is like taking care of the kids and like doing stuff with them. But then, and it's Benedict Cumberbatch doing all the work. But then a freak accident happens where he made a really bad design on a building, on a museum, and it destroys the museum, and then he becomes a joke, right? Nobody wants to hire him anymore. But then Olivia Colman starts up a restaurant, and due to that storm, a critic goes into her restaurant, really likes her food, writes a great review, and then boom, her business explodes, and she creates like a whole cooking empire. But then, since Benedict Cumberbatch, nobody wants to work with him anymore, he stays at home, takes care of the kids, and then she just gets her life caught up in work, right? And the roles are reversed, and the kids are, more attached to Benedict Cumberbatch because they spend way more time with him. But they both are jealous of each other because Olivia Colman wants to have a deeper relationship with her kids, and Benedict Cumberbatch, wants his career back. He wants to be successful again. And it's a nice little dynamic that they have, a nice little understandable reasons for them to be jealous of each other. And I think that it just, builds and builds and builds throughout the course of the movie until, the final climax of it, where I think it is, spoilers, by the way, but I really think it's quite poetic for a relationship that is basically just a living example of an explosion, just like a car crash that you just can't, it's like, you see an accident on the highway and you just can't stop but look at it. It's so horrific, but you just can't not look at it. This is kind of an example of that. It's only poetic for them to die in a giant gas explosion. While they don't show it, it happens, right? It's very, very heavily implied to basically where they just don't show the explosion. But I do think, as I said, the main part is Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. Jesus, those names are hard to say fast. But Andy Samberg and Kate McKinnon? Or McKinnon? No, McKinnon. Kate McKinnon. Sorry. But they are also entertaining parts of the movie because they're kind of parallel to Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. Jesus Christ. They're parallel to them in the fact that they're also an unhappy, miserable married couple, but they're kind of in denial of it. Right? They're kind of in denial that they hate each other. They don't want to admit that they hate each other, or maybe they have a balance between they love each other and they hate each other. Maybe they have the balance that, Cumberbatch and Colman don't. Or maybe, I don't know, it's an interesting parallel that they have. And I like that. But also, Kate McKinnon is also like a really thirsty, horny bastard in this. Like, she is just trying to get in everybody's pants, basically. And that's her trait, is that she's just really horny for British people. I think she just really likes their accents. She finds it sexy. Here's the thing, it's not like she just wants Benedict Cumberbatch. She later says that she wants to get with Olivia Colman, and that's just her whole character, and it's entertaining. And Andy Samberg is he's just kind of sarcastically miserable, I guess is a good way to put it. He hates everything, but he puts a facade of that he doesn't. Right? He's smiling and happy, but while he's smiling and laughing, he's talking about how much he hates himself. So that's also kind of a fun dynamic, too. There's also other side characters that, while they are there and they serve a purpose, as I guess as friends of the main character, but they're not really central. Obviously, they're just side characters, But, I'm trying to think. I can't really think of anything too notable of them. I don't know. I'm rambling here. But either way, I think, obviously, those four that I just mentioned were probably the highlights character-wise. I did like how at the end they were just at each other's throats since they were trying to... So, Benedict Cumberbatch wanted to keep the house because he designed and built it. It was his dream house, basically, right? And Olivia Colman he would literally give her everything, right? He just wanted to keep the house. But since she helped pay for it, she wanted to keep the house too. So they were obviously in a divorce legal battle, trying to, get their way. So they were just constantly fucking with each other to get the other one to sign the paper so that they could get what they wanted. So it would go from pretty tame things to throwing crab in a bath while they're bathing, or playing really loud music and locking them in their room until they sign a paper, to sending an AI generated video to their clients to get them to not trust them, or basically poisoning their food with disgusting things and drugs. And then trying to poison them straight up by feeding them berries, which they're allergic to, and only going to give them the EpiPen that saves their life once they sign the contract. It gets pretty dubious, right? And obviously at the end, they're chasing each other around, basically trying to kill each other, right? And they're arguing while trying to kill each other, and it's pretty entertaining. It's an entertaining dynamic, but at the end they reconcile. They kind of figure each other out, they finally, get each other. For the first time in forever, they finally realize their flaws, and they're, actually able to be happy. And then they blow up. Because Benedict Cumberbatch did something really stupid by breaking a old gas stove. Which, a gas leak happened, and then, boom, lit a fire. Gas leaks are nothing to scoff at. You will get fucked up in a gas leak. Either you will, die of the gas getting in your lungs, breathing it in, or you will explode, right? So it's a lose-lose situation. Especially since, at least in their final moments, they were content, I guess, before they died in a giant blaze of glory. But I will say I really did enjoy this film, and while obviously it's not perfect, I do think it was a very fun time. I think as a comedy, a black comedy, I think there's a lot to enjoy about it. And I think if you liked Jay Roach's previous work, if you like other kind of black comedies, I do think there's a lot to enjoy here. I would recommend it. And with that being said, what would I rate this film? I think I would rate this film a 7.5 out of 10. And, yeah, I think I've said what I need to say. I think I've said my piece. So, guys, hope you like this video. Share it with friends. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Comment down below if you liked it. But you guys know how it goes. I didn't really mean to say that. What I really meant to say is if you guys hated this video, unsubscribe, dislike, and hate me in the comments. And I've been running Time HD off to design a home. You get the, what is it called? The construction paper. You get the nice blue and you get the white pen. And then you just, scribble on it. And then you're like, Northwest 034.
It's called a blueprint. Construction paper. That's what kids in preschool use.
But it's construction paper. It's use it for construction. That's what the name is for.
Different kind of paper.
There was something about the arguments in this movie that felt like so real to the point where it was funny and uncomfortable at the same time. Like they felt like real banter that actual, married couples would have. I don't know. I've never been married, but it just feels like they would have these kind of conversations. I don't know. Married people, in the comment, leave it. Do you hate each other? That's the question of the hour. I don't know.